Hi, guys. Hi.
Welcome back.
We're almost at 500 followers on Facebook, so that's kind of cool. We're at 496. So we just need 4 more. Let's do it, guys. And then also come subscribe to us on YouTube. I also figured out why we haven't been getting so many views, because there's a different way to upload shit to Facebook so it counts as a view.
Oh,
When people
okay.
click it. I've been doing it just sharing it. That doesn't count as a view.
Oh, I see.
So as far as I know, or for all I know, we could have been getting hundreds of views this whole time.
Right. But, it's all in good fun, so yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it is
but
what
at the
it is.
same time, yeah, that
It's a little disheartening when you get, you put your time and effort into this shit and then you get nothing from it.
right.
But that's okay. We're going to listen to 9 Inch Nails today. So we're going to listen to their first album, Pretty Hate Machine. And this is the one with Head Like a Hole. That's the only song I know off this album. I think that's probably their most popular song. Their first album, it came out on October 20th, 1989. So it's coming up on an anniversary here next month. And it was produced by Trent Reznor and John Fryer and Flood. I don't know who that is, among others, it says. And then it was recorded May through June, and then it came out in October of the same year.
And so, I mean, it's almost exactly 35 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah. This would be pretty cool. It's a little bit different than what we've been listening to. It's probably more along the lines of Muse,
Yeah.
but it should be fun. Cool, let's start.
Yeah, when I was listening to this at work the other last couple weeks ago, actually, it was like he put it on, Casey, and I was like, this came out in 1989?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't fucking believe it.
I didn't know they were that old. I thought they came out like in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
Well, I guess late 80s and early 90s are kind of the same thing anyway.
Well, because we were talking about it that night, too, and it's like, they're always lumped in with that industrial metal group that was going on, like, who am I thinking of, like Fear Factory and bands like that.
Yeah, kind of Tool-ish, I would say, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not so heavy like Tool, but I don't know a whole lot about these guys. So, like I said, I only know like their big hits. Like I know
Yeah.
this one, and I know "Hand That Feeds," which I think that's the song I was thinking
That's
of.
one,
And then,
that's what I was thinking of.
and then what's that other one? I can never remember what it's called, but the "Fuck You Like an Animal" song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I can't remember what that song's called. But yeah, this is their huge hit, "Head Like a Hole."
Well, I think it's cool, too, because I heard most of this album before this week, and I liked what I heard, but I didn't hear the whole thing, so I
Yeah.
can be a little more reactionary, and that's kind of what I was going for, because I don't think either of us are
I haven't even
super
listened
familiar.
to it. I haven't even listened to it yet. This is my first time listening to the whole album. But this song is kind of cool. It was on that show Black Mirror. I know Casey got me onto that. And Miley Cyrus did a cover of it on
Oh,
Black
that's
Mirror.
cool.
It's fucking really good. I couldn't believe it. That bitch has a fucking good voice.
Well,
like
yeah.
when she's not being overproduced, like as a pop singer,
Right.
she could have been a fucking rock singer. She's a good singer.
Well, that's, yeah, like you said, I mean, I'm used to hearing, like, what is it, Wrecking Ball and stuff like that out of
Yeah.
her, but to hear her do some, like, stuff like this, yeah, I mean, I've heard some of that stuff, and it's
Well,
pretty cool.
it was kind of cool the way they did it on that show because, like, there were 2 versions of it. There was a pop version because she was a pop singer in the show,
Okay.
and then once the, I don't want to really give too much away if anybody's going to watch it, but once the whole episode kind of, came to the end, she became more of like a dark, grungy kind of person, and she didn't want to be a pop singer anymore.
Damn.
So then she became a rock singer and did a cover of this. Like, it was almost note for note.
Damn.
It was really good.
I like this overall sound he has, though. That was another thing that I was thinking about when I was listening to this. The tone quality that he has on the guitar, it just works with the keyboard so good. Like, it's almost like a gigantic keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of, sound-wise, I guess, like, kind of reminds me of Muse just because they kind of do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
He uses a pretty heavy fuzz on his guitar, and normally I don't like that, but it works so well with the keyboards and synth that you don't even really notice it. Yeah, and then Trent Reznor he's done fucking everything. Do you have solo projects and shit? And see, what all did he do?
I know he's done either TV show or movie scores. I want to say the whole intro to the movie Seven. He did the whole intro on it, and then some of the background music.
Yeah, 9 Inch Nails, How to Destroy Angels, I've never heard of them. And then formerly of Exotic Birds, The Innocent, Lucky Pierre, Sound City Players, and Tapeworm. I've never heard of any of them, but he's done a whole bunch of shit. Like, he's done like scores for movies and TV shows, and yeah, I don't know. He's done a whole bunch of shit. Like I'd have to go on and read for probably an hour to. But
yeah, this song, when I heard this the first time, I was like, okay, now here's the 80s, because like it just immediately reminded me of
that
like
electric snare drum.
Yep. And then on top of that, it just sounded like 1991 to me. Like it was just like, you know, like wake up in the morning and you're having your bowl of cereal and you're watching like Saved by the Bell. It just reminded me of that kind of shit.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool. This is definitely different. I don't really know what to say, honestly, because I don't have much of an opinion because I haven't really listened to it.
Right.
It's different and it's weird and I like it.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's cool too because this music gets very atmospheric. Like there's not a whole lot of riffage going on. I mean, there is, but it's not what I would consider like metal riffs or anything like that. Nothing real exciting. But as far as that goes, though, the music is laying a really good foundation for the vocals, and you can tell that's what his approach is here, is to really push the vocals forward. Which I like that. I mean, to be honest, the way he sings and everything, I kind of enjoy it.
He has a pretty unique voice. He kind of... Somebody's going to hate me for this, but he kind of sounds like Phil Collins to me a little bit.
Yeah, like a mix between like Phil Collins and like, what's his name, David Draymond?
Yeah, from Disturbed.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like a mix between the two of them to me.
Well, I think he sounds like Phil Collins too, after he did that Land of Confusion cover. But I don't know, he's got a cool voice. It's definitely, everybody, you hear it, you know it, you know. It's unique, it's distinct. He has a very distinct voice.
Yeah.
I really hate to say it, but like it just sounds like if fucking Phil Collins and Genesis came out in the fucking 90s.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Because I can hear a lot of like, In the Air Tonight, that was Phil Collins' solo project, right?
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like that to me.
Oh, right there, that sound effect too. Yeah, it's straight from Genesis.
I wonder if he took inspiration from them. It definitely sounds like it.
Yeah.
To me, he sounds exactly like Phil Collins. Which
agree.
Isn't a bad thing. It's just, Phil Collins is just kind of a douchebag, but he's still a good singer.
It is very interesting. Like, so this one just this particular track is just dragging on and on and on, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's annoying, but like their songs do kind of do that. Like they just kind of drag on at the end, like Closer.
Oh, that's right, Closer.
Yeah.
He kind of did like early 90s, late 80s rap there. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit is Beck.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but...
Like Loser?
Yeah, like the way that just like the vocal pattern is.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Beck.
That's kind of what I'm getting from this so far, is that he's kind of drawing from inspiration from not only what he heard in the past, like when he was growing up or whatever, but also what was current at the time, and he's kind of blending it all together here. I'm kind of hearing the 80s-ness in it now, because before I was
really 80s.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's kind of a little ahead of its time, but now these last two songs, it's really coming through.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily
It sounds a little
thing.
bit behind the times.
Yeah, like this sounds like it would have come out in like 83, 84, this particular song.
When that huge boom of like techno and new wave came out, yeah.
And like I said, it's not terrible. Like I said, like, I'll be honest, like this wouldn't be part of my normal listening, but at the same time though, I can kind of see why people would take inspiration from this album and Trent Reznor.
Just from like the few songs that I do know and listening to this so far, one thing I don't understand is how this was like a huge band for like goth kids.
Right.
Like, because it doesn't sound like necessarily like goth music.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because now that you mention it, I remember, especially when I was in high school, like everybody would have the 9 Inch Nails like logo on their backpack sewn on, or they would wear their clothes and stuff like that. And I mean, now that I'm listening to it too, I'm like, I'm a little confused, because you would think like System of a Down would be bigger or stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, maybe these guys are a little bit more deep vocally or lyrically, but I don't know the lyrics, so
right.
I'm not going to even try to dissect them.
Well, see, and I never really got into the goth culture or anything like that, so I always just assumed they were just listening to straight death metal and stuff like that, but...
No, they listened to stuff that was just kind of dark and had pretty, I don't know, I guess more meaningful vocals and lyrics and shit. Like, these were a huge band for, at least when I was in high school, for like the goth kid. Like, that was more of a middle school thing. Like, Once we got to high school, the goth kids turned into emo kids.
Well, yeah. Which is really interesting.
Or gangsters, and they are fucking...
Oh, yeah,
or ghetto kids
school.
or whatever at our school.
See, and then that's weird to me because it's weird talking about like goth kids going to emo because, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is how out of the loop I am on that, aren't they like two way different things? Like goth is more of like depressive and dark and brooding and all that, and
I
emo's
guess.
a little more positive.
Well, emo's not positive. Emo kids were the ones that would like cut their wrists and like all that shit, straighten their hair. That's why I'm like, everybody, well, Quentin's mostly, you used to be an emo kid. I was never a fucking emo kid. I dressed like it, and I was a scene kid.
Yeah.
You know, they're different. That's different. That's like, it's like an emo kid that doesn't hurt themselves and wears bright colors. Like,
yeah.
Other than that, yeah, kind of the same thing.
Right. This is a sick
bass
bass line. I really like it.
Is that actually bass, though? Because,
See,
it reminds me of the Seinfeld, like that kind of sound.
Yeah,
and
like
that wasn't a bass.
I'm wondering if he recorded it once, and then he just looped it for the rest of the song. So it sounds, it's almost like it's the identical take of the bass line every single time he does it. So I'm like, unless like you said, I mean, it could just be a keyboard.
That's what they did with Seinfeld.
Really, that wasn't bass?
It wasn't bass, so he did it on a keyboard.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought that was.
That's
like,
what I mean.
That's
what it's like. The sound sounds like the Seinfeld thing to me. So that's why I was like, I wonder if it's actually bass or if it's keyboard.
No, it might be keyboard because, like I said, it's a little too perfect to like. It's got the same inflection every time. Like it doesn't change like how it's done anytime.
Because like that little blip, you can't get. I don't think you can do that on a keyboard. Maybe.
I don't think so because I mean. Because I'm just thinking of how it would be done on the bass, and you would kind of like slap the string on the downstroke, but then you would also mute it in the same motion. So I'm just sitting here like,
yeah, this song sounds a little bit more dark, like I guess kind of more like something I would imagine a goth kid would listen to.
Yeah, and for that matter, the impression I had of Nine Inch Nails, this sounds more like what I expected out of them, as opposed to the last two songs where I'm just like.
I don't know, like until I heard and realized who it was, like their singles and shit, I always imagined that they would sound like I don't know, in my head I always had like almost like a Deftones kind of sound.
Yeah.
Or they were a little bit more of like the, you know, metal or new metal sound. That's what I always figured they sound like until I heard Hand That Feeds.
Yeah. Well, not too, like all this time too, having heard of them. You're right, like Deftones or like Soundgarden, like later Soundgarden and stuff like that, like late 90s hard rock. Yeah, like I agree. This is pretty good. You know, it's kind of backgroundy, you know what I mean? Like something that you would put on when you're doing something else. But at the same time, though, I mean, if you sit and actually listen to it, yeah, the lyrics are quite deep and personal.
Yeah, this is very interesting music. Who knows that quote?
It's almost like so far, like the feeling I'm getting from it, it's like this stuff would be awesome if it was covered. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
yeah.
Like the more I listen to it, it's like I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but I'm not a fan of the way it is. And it's like, man, if there was a little bit more instrumentation in it, if it was like had some kind of rhythm and beat to it underneath, I think it would really drive it forward more.
Yeah. Well, with Trent Reznor, he did things different.
Right.
You know, like if you listen to it for its core, what it is, and like if you listen to it like for the notes and all that shit instead of like as a whole, it makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
And like he did it from like, it seems like from like a sonic perspective instead of like a tonality kind of thing.
Right. Now this one I did listen to, and this is actually very hauntingly pretty. This song.
Songs are long on this album. This is 6 minutes long. It is really pretty though.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree with what you just said. Because it's the kind of listener I am. I'm sitting there listening and going, "Oh, that technique is happening," or you know, "Oh, they're using these kind of chords. That's cool," you know, or listening to a certain rhythmic passage or rhythm.
Yeah.
And when you hear something like this, being the kind of listener I am, it's like you really don't know how to take it. You're just like,
It's kind of hard to call Trent Reznor just a musician, because I mean, he is a musician, but he's also like a composer.
Right. Well, he's a visionary, and he's definitely an artist. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what he was going after, more of like avant-garde or artistry in his music. And I'm just like, that's cool, you know. I mean, and I appreciate it, and I actually enjoy what I'm hearing. It's just the kind of listener I am and the kind of musician I am. It's two different worlds.
I would call him more of a composer than a musician. Because I mean, I'm sure he played guitar and stuff like that too. He's probably like a multi-instrumentalist. And I'm sure he did like the pianos and stuff on this.
Yeah.
And he's just got a good voice too. It's weird. It's weird, but it's cool. I think that's like probably the biggest thing I can take from this whole album so far, is that it's weird, but it's cool.
Well, what's really interesting, speaking of his voice, how well it also works with everything else that's going around. If he had any different kind of voice, I don't think it would work. If he had a real deep, harsh kind of voice like metal does now, that would not work. And if he had a real high screamo kind of voice, I'm like, I don't know.
And what else is kind of cool about his voice is that, like, I'm not saying he's like off key or anything like that, but he's got like this wavering about it, and it's not like a vibrato. It's like he's falling in and out of tune. Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, this is a very pretty song, but it's also very slow and very dragged out.
I mean, having said that, I mean, like I just said, this is a long song, but it's already halfway over.
Right.
This makes pretty nice just ambient background music, I think. Like, unless you're gonna listen to the vocals, like I said, I never do. You know? So to me, this would just be really good. Oh, I know this song. See, and they're one of those bands too, where
like out of nowhere, you're just like,
I do know this song. Yeah.
I think this was actually in a movie, because
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. It was in Natural Born Killers.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see, like, it's no surprise to me how he ended up becoming a film composer, because I mean, this does sound like it was composed to be in a film. I mean, and when you think about it, if this came out in '89, Natural Born Killers, I don't believe came out till '94. It's really interesting because it's like it fit that scene. If I remember right, what scene this is in, it fits the scene so well, but it wasn't written for that intentionally, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I should probably watch it again. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Young Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Fucking Woody Harrelson. You know what's another really weird one? Sin City. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
That's a weird movie.
Yeah, like that's mostly the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just interesting. Black and white is aside. I mean, it's just the way everything moves and the way it is. It's just weird.
Elijah Wood in that movie was fucking creepy. It was good though. Like, I don't like Elijah Wood. I don't know if he really talked much in that, but his character was just really creepy. Because they don't really show his face. I think they just show, like, his glasses are, like, white.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah, just really creepy.
And see, this album so far, like, the way that the track listing is on it, it's just interesting because, like, you have kind of, I'm not going to say high tempo, but, like, moderate tempo kind of, you can feel the groove kind of songs. Then out of nowhere, slow ambient songs. And now we're back in, like, you know, you can kind of dance to it a little bit, you know? Like, it's just weird.
Casey's gonna fucking hate me for saying this sounds like Phil Collins, but it does. It sounds like Genesis. This reminds me of Land of Confusion.
It really does. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that
he's gonna fucking text me after if he watches this and be like, "You're a fucking asshole, man."
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you too. I mean, it's not a bad thing to sound like Phil Collins or Genesis. I mean, they're one of the top selling artists in history.
I mean, dude, the fucking Tarzan song. What's that song called? That
song was amazing. What was? Yeah. I don't know the name, but
I can't remember what it's called, but oh my god, like, he went so fucking hard for a Disney movie. And Phil Collins, again, I'm not a huge fan, but as a songwriter and a singer, that motherfucker's good.
Yeah, he knows
what's up. He's really good. Well, what the fuck is that song called? Someone Like Me or something like that?
It's something like that. Or
Stranger Like Me.
Oh, Stranger, yeah.
Something like that. Well, that song went so fucking hard, man. I want to look up and see if there's a list of songs like that just went so fucking hard for no reason.
Yeah.
And, like, that one, and then the 007 GoldenEye theme for the N64 game went so hard. That's on my list. And then also the Wii Sports theme.
Oh, yeah.
Those songs were so good.
Oh, yeah.
For no fucking reason.
I mean, even Elton John's song.
I was gonna say The Lion King, the theme for that. He wrote that. I mean, I don't know if he performed it, but Yeah, he wrote that. That was a pretty good one too.
Yeah, that was really good.
Dude, Disney used to be the shit back in the day, and then they fucking they started doing all that Pixar shit, and then they got all fucking woke after. What about like most of the songs from Hercules? Like all of those songs were the shit.
And they fit the song. They fit the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like almost perfect. Every single scene that they had a song in, it was like, all right, cool. And then everybody talks shit about that movie, but I thought it was pretty good.
Those songs, most of them are just so good because it's those sassy 3-ass black women.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you had to. I mean...
The Muses or whatever.
That movie, Aladdin, that had some pretty good stuff in it.
Yeah, that did. I always get those songs stuck in my head. Fucking... I got a video, The Jungle Book, that had some good music in it too. But I got a video of Ethan, my old roommate, he used to listen to the Disney like soundtracks while he was cleaning the house. And I don't know if I still have it. If I do, I'll show you later. But there was a video I took of him dancing to what's the song?
Bare Necessities.
Bare Necessities while he was fucking cleaning the kitchen. It was fuck. And like after Pixar and all that shit, I don't know. They just got so woke and
Well, Cookie Cutter too. I mean, every single one of them that I've seen. I mean, I don't go out watching Disney movies, but the ones that I have seen since,
they're all the same.
They're all the same movie.
It's the same story. You can pretty much figure out what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And
then even then, like other...
even Toy Story, like after the second one, I don't know, it seemed like they were just kind of cashing in after that. The second one was fucking awesome. I love that movie.
the second one. And it's funny, too, because you were pretty young yet when the second one came out, and I was like 15.
No, I was probably like 10.
Yeah,
I was really young when the first one came out.
Yeah.
I think I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, the first one was sick. I mean, when you're used to watching cartoons out of Disney or live action and stuff, and then they come out with this computer animation stuff in like 1996. It was mind-blowing. Dude, it was insane. And
Bugs Life 2, that didn't really have much of a soundtrack, but the Bugs Life video game for PS1,
dude, that game was
fucking awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
I went back and played that again like a few years ago, and like I was amazed how hard it was too for like it was made for children. But that was just a fun game. Well, problem solving, but like I don't know, just some of the shit you had to do, or you had to figure out how to get to some of the stuff. Like it was just a challenging game.
Yeah.
And
a lot of them were like that too. Like I remember Spyro the Dragon was kind of tough.
Yeah.
What was the other one we played? Well, Metal Gear, of course. Metal Gear, any of them are hard.
Dude. See, I hate when we go off on tangents like this sometimes, but like listening to music like this, it kind of starts. It makes you kind of all this shit floods in.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, speaking of Metal Gear Solid, the new one. Well, it's not new, but they're remaking Snake Eater.
Oh, are they?
And they just put out a second trailer. Dude, it looks so fucking good. I can't wait. Like I've been wanting to play that one again because I played it. It's probably 10 years ago now. It was probably the last time I played it. And I remember I didn't like it.
That's the third one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I tried it and I was like, yeah, screw this.
But I don't know. It was just the way video games are now. I kind of want to go back and try it again because it's a little bit more similar to that. There was so much shit you had to do in that game. Like
you had to feed Snake.
You had to feed him. You had to have water and food, and it was just I don't know, camouflage and everything. Like it was really cool, but
it was just a little much, especially at the time. Cause, I mean,
it was like puzzles to beat the fucking bosses too. And there was this one, like what was his name? What was his name? He was the old guy in the forest or in the woods, and I could not fucking beat him because he's like invisible. You can't find him. You have to use the I think there's like some directional microphone or something you're supposed to use to find him. Because he's like sleeping and you're supposed to sneak up on him and kill him.
Okay.
But I could never fucking find him, and by the time you do, if you don't see him or whatever, he just shoots you and you're dead. So I ended up just saying, fuck this game, and I turned it off, and I turned it back on like maybe 2 weeks or a month later, and I guess that's a hack. Anybody who ever got stuck on that fucking boss, it's a hack. If you just turn it off and don't play it for a while, when you turn it back on, it says, I can't remember his name, died from waiting.
Oh, that's funny.
And then because he's old as fuck. I think he was like 90-something years old.
Died from waiting. That's funny.
And then you just get past it and you move on. Like the music in this sounds like it could have been in the first Metal Gear Solid.
I think so.
Like,
actually,
it almost sounds like
yeah.
It almost sounds like the theme for it a little bit.
That, and then here's a game I'm sure you haven't thought of in a while, Siphon Filter. It kind of reminds me of Siphon Filter.
I love that game. Yeah. Me and Paul used to play that like when we were kids. The second one, what was the second one? One of them, there was the first one you could do 2-player, and we would laugh our fucking asses off, man. We loved that game.
That game was fun.
Siphon Filter was good. It was like the Walmart version of fucking Metal Gear Solid.
Right.
It was good though. But it's kind of cool the way that like music in video games is like progressed.
Yeah.
Because the first time that I noticed how just how good the music was in a video game was when I played Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah.
And like, man, it's like, I mean, other than Doom, like Doom 2016, that it's like a metal fucking album.
Oh yeah.
Like behind it, some of it, but there's like a lot of like symphonic shit like behind it too. And then, but I think it's when I can't remember when it's. I think it's when you're fighting the dog or whatever in Metal Gear Rising, and there's just like this fucking. It's almost Gent, like, but it was like what 2013 I think that came out, so it was almost before Gent came out.
Right.
It was kind of cool, and then Doom 2016 came out, and fucking Mick Gordon just changed the game,
just
like
fucking tears
because
it up.
that game was almost literally you're buying a fucking sick metal record and you're getting a really good game with it. You know.
Well, we've come a long way too, because I remember as far back as like. Just regular Nintendo, and you have like the blips and bloops for the music and stuff, and boy, those were some dark times.
But it was still cool. There's still, you know, a charm behind it.
Great.
Even the original Doom, like the soundtrack was really good.
Yeah, but then to go from
even
like
if they ripped off Metallica,
right? But then to go from like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, because was like those were the two most popular consoles when PlayStation came out. To go from that to PlayStation, which is just music, you're just like, whoa, like it's a whole new thing, you know.
This reminds me of the Chemical Brothers
a little bit.
Yeah, some of this little shit, it's really cool.
Yeah,
that's such a. I mean, that's on like every fucking Casio keyboard. That sound. But
I was gonna say it's kind of like
cool.
Casio.
It's
thing.
cool that he used it to make a whole song.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. There was an artist I was reading about recently, and he did like all of the music was just literally a Casio drum sample, Casio keyboard loop. Like
it was
just went all the way through.
I saw it. It was who was it?
I mean, I know the Police did that on one of their songs.
Yeah,
but
it was I can't remember. It was there. I just saw it. It was a really, really popular song in the early 2000s. Like it was. I don't think it was a pop song. But he said it's I can't remember what keyboard it was either, but he's like, no, just push number like 2 or whatever it was. Like, and they're like, oh my god, that's the fucking song. He's like, yeah, that's all we did. We just used the fucking preset.
Jesus Christ.
I want to say it was like Black Eyed Peas or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. I mean, if that stuff's non-royalty, why not? I mean, it's like, you know, it's an artistic representation. If you're going to use something that already exists. And that's why I hate it when people talk down on people who use like inspiration or samples.
Yeah.
If you're using it as a artistic expression, that's one thing. But if you're gonna straight up copy the song and try to make a song out of it, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless you're Mick Gordon, or if you're making music for, because like copyright shit, you can't. Sometimes you just can't use an artist's music.
Right.
So, and I imagine that's probably what they did back then. They wanted it to sound like Master of Puppets,
right?
You know, for Doom, but they couldn't use Master of Puppets.
Right.
And then Mick Gordon took the original Doom music, some of it, and rewrote it and made it his own.
And again, that's a prime example of, you know, you take inspiration from. I mean, you're more or less copying it, but at the same time, though, it's not the same song. So, I mean, as long as something's different, you know.
So, yeah, weird. Really weird. Not what I was expecting at all. Not so much of a reaction video, but that's okay.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll be dead honest with you. This is... I'll probably never listen to this again, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I probably won't either.
But at the same time, though, I mean, it was nice to hear it, just to kind of hear something a little different for a change. Yeah. And there was still something to take from it, you know, as far as how rhythms and harmonies
if nothing
can work.
else, you can understand why, you know, they got the name they have, or why Trent Reznor made a name for himself. Because it's so much different. It's definitely cool. It's just, this isn't, you know, the stuff I would normally want to listen to. You know, it's, like I said, it'd be cool. I don't mind listening to it. I wouldn't mind if I was, like, at work or something, which it's happened, you know, Casey listens to these guys, and it's in the background. That doesn't bother me. It's not like I hate it.
Right.
It's not like I'm going to fucking turn it off. Oh, dude, Stabbing Westward.
Yeah, just came up right after.
Fuck it, dude. We're going to listen to this song. This song's the shit. This was a band, Casey brought them up a while ago. They're from Macomb, I think.
Yeah.
And he brought him up, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And because there nobody fucking heard of them.
Right.
And he was like, I maybe he was kind of surprised I knew who it was, but Dad had that CD.
Yeah, I remember hearing
It
this.
was this one.
So bonus song.
Bonus song, different band, dude. The song was the shit. These guys were so cool.
See, I'll tell you what though. When we were doing
When did this come out?
Oh, this was like, I want to say mid '90s.
Oh, he just came out with an album
Did
2
they?
years ago. Yeah.
I'll tell you though, when we were doing Spine Shank, it reminded me an awful lot of this for some reason. I mean, it's got that same kind of feel
Yeah.
to it, but
This came out in '96. So yeah, a little bonus for you.
a lot of weird shit came out. In
What Do I Have to
96.
Do by Stabbing Westward. Yeah. Wither, Blister, Burn, and Peel.
Yeah.
Dude, okay.
Yeah.
I don't... You guys are getting a bonus song. This song's this shit.
I remember when I first heard this too. It had to have been right around the time this came out because I was about 11 or 12. Yeah, it was like Dad puts it out, and I'm like, the fuck? And
Yeah.
it was cool though, because like it starts out like this, and then just all of a sudden,
Yeah, these guys were cool. This maybe sounds a little bit more like what I was thinking Nine Inch Nails would sound like.
I agree, and that was kind of well, it's probably why Google or YouTube Music did this, because it does sound an awful lot like later Nine Inch Nails, I would say.
Yeah. This is a fucking weird song. It's cool.
Yeah. I remember this being on the radio sometimes. Like it wasn't on often at all.
I think I heard it a couple times on the radio, yeah.
But it was like one of those, every time it came on the radio, you're just like, damn, they're playing this on the radio.
Yeah. I think they used to have a different name.
Oh, Saving Westward hit?
Yeah, Casey, let me know, because I can't remember. You were telling me about it. But yeah, they're from Macomb, Illinois. That's not too far from here. What?
Not
a
too
couple
far.
hours?
Yeah, it's a little south, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck Macomb is. All I know is it's close.
Yeah. Because I think I've driven past it before. Well, yeah, it is south, because I think I was passing it on the way to Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be thinking of a totally different town, but I'm pretty sure you pass it on the way down to Florida from here.
Isn't there a college there or something?
Yeah, it's like I can't remember which one either. I mean, I've never actually been in Macomb. I just know you pass it, but
This is a cool song.
well, and see it now. It's funny because I'm going to compare it to what we just heard. It's about a minute or so shorter than most of those songs that we heard on the other album, but it makes sense. It gets to the point, and it's a nice package. I get what Trent Reznor was going for, and he was trying to be a little bit more artistic and everything. These guys are doing it too. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trent Reznor used that in one of his songs.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
These guys are cool as shit. I wouldn't mind doing this album. Because, like, Dad only ever listened to the 2 songs, so by proxy, we only listened to the 2 songs.
Exactly. Yeah, but it was weird. Like, I remember the day I first heard this too. He puts it on, and I'm just like...
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the time, we were used to listening to, like, Metallica and Iron Maiden and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and it's, like, real fast, aggressive music, and then he puts this on, and I'm like...
Dad surprises me sometimes with the shit he listens to.
Yeah.
Alright. That's enough of that. Anyway, yeah, so 9 Inch Nails, and then your little bonus at the end there. It's a good album. Like I said, I like it. I'll listen to it again, maybe.
Yeah.
But probably not.
Like, I'm certainly not going to say it's one of the worst albums I've ever heard, because it's not. I mean,
No,
I've heard some
it's
bad
good.
albums.
It's just not for me.
Right. It's just, yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit too far of a departure away from what I normally listen to. Then
I guess a good way to put it is, not for me, but I can definitely appreciate it.
yeah, and I will recommend it too. I mean, I will say that, you know, if, you know, slower kind of ambient music is your thing, definitely pick it up. I mean, it's not bad. It's just,
Yeah, I mean,
I need more excitement in my music.
from the other stuff by them I have heard, I can say I probably like their newer stuff more.
Yeah.
I put out a single, so check that out. I'll link it down there, wherever the fuck. I'm not too big on the YouTube thing yet. I'll link my shit down in the thing, down. So do
Down by the goddamn curly thing over there.
yeah. And then I got a couple more songs that I want to finish. Well, I got one I want to finish, and I just started working on one today. I'm gonna hopefully have the album out by hopefully before the end of next month. So I mean, I got one song that is like probably a third of the way done, and then I just started writing like the first like riff for this new one. It's in standard, which is different for me.
That is different for you.
And then yeah, so that's why I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a thrash song.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you got, I don't know, YouTube Music or Spotify or whatever the fuck it is you listen to music, Apple, all that shit, iTunes, whatever the fuck, it's on all of them. So check it out. I don't know. I'm not gonna link every fucking, because the only one I have is YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't have Spotify. I don't know if I can just link music from shit I don't have. But I'll put the link for the YouTube video or whatever. Put the YouTube link down there. So check it out. And then when the album comes out, I'll do the same, I'm sure. It'll be an announcement. I don't know if I'm going to post it on here or not. It'll probably be on my personal channel. And then, yeah. Check it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a good week, guys.